Hi Taurus, welcome to your monthly readings. As always, keep in mind that this is only a general reading. Always take what it feels right and with what does resonate within your own life experiences during this time. If you would like to have a personal reading with me, please contact me through the email I put in the description box below. For the month of February, I'll be offering a special tarot reading that is focused on love and relationship matters, and it's called Cupid's Message. So if you would like to know more details about that or any other of my tarot services, just email me. Or if you would like to donate and support my channel, you can also do so by following the PayPal link, which is also down below. So Taurus, I feel like some of you Taurus might be struggling, having a hard time releasing something that has been emotionally complex and even a source of drainage to you, because I feel like whatever this difficulty in ending or being completely free from a situation is, it has been more, let's say, destructive or more negative, created a more negative impact to you than positive one. And I feel like some of you Taurus are really like juggling here with extremes, because it's like an energy of contrast during the month of February, where there are certain things that are still hurting, there are still a struggle, that are still difficult, and it's even more increased, I feel, for some of you due to the fact that you are quite emotionally receptive and so very sensitive, very, very, very tuned to your feelings. So this can create an overly emotional, atmosphere where it's hard to see beyond emotions, and so it's easy to be drowned in sorrows or in other negative feelings, because not every time we are feeling okay. So if there are issues to heal, and usually with the Queen of Cups this is going to be felt is going to be felt more intensely during this period of time. And so, but in one side you have this presence that is very feminine, that is very sensitive, that is very intuitive, emotionally caring, nourishing, nurturing. It's like a motherly energy. And then you have the Fool, which is like the baby, which is like the recklessness and the eccentricity of a child, which is the laughter, right? And the lack of care, actually, the lack of care for anything that feels like bondage. There's no bondage within relationship association with child or with the child vibration. So, and very rarely there's a presence of that deep suffering, because everything is constantly recycled and changed, and even it's like relative. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say this word. It's like not taken to those depths. They don't need to go to those depths. Usually that's an issue of our adulthood, as we understand that we carry within us a lot of things that need that deep dive, in order to heal and be free from, for example, baggage we bring from our childhood, that as a child we don't see or understand that to be baggage, most of us. So all of this to say that there's a contrast. It's like two very different energies colliding here for you in your month, that has to deal with what you're to leave, what you're to heal. For some of you, this could even include as well issues with your family. Yes, issues with, for those of you Taurus that have kids, it could be about the relationship you have with your children, as a reflection as well of the relationship you've had so far, how you have been feeding your inner child. It could be that there has been a wound, a problem, a struggle in the last 10 months at least, or a long time, between you and a child, or between you and this inner child of yours, where the relationship has not been the best, and now you're to leave the dark age, the dark phase behind, and initiate here with the Fool a different path, a different path, a different experience, different direction. Because the Fool has no experience, so you're meant to go somewhere you have not been before. In the soul position, so in the way you are emotionally and spiritually dealing, processing situations, how you are trusting life, because the Fool trusts is almost blindly, but the Nine of Wands doesn't. It's trust issues here as you go into March. So there's still a struggle, there's friction associated with trust, trusting the new, leaving the old, trusting whoever and whatever approaches you, as you being here shown as the Queen of Cups, whatever approaches you, yes, it might look good, and it might look good for some of you to try something different, something new, even with yourselves, to do something different with your image, with your style, or with the style of certain things in your life. There are reminders of that old dark phase or period. It could be beautiful, a beautiful, beautiful healing, transformative experience to have a makeover done in what needs that makeover. But the way you are receiving the Fool, this child knocking at your door, is with resistance. So whatever the child is a representation, of course, of a new beginning, a new life, a new potential, new opportunity, a new relationship, or a new way of, at least a new way of doing things. But for that, the Queen of Cups needs to be working properly, which is usually as well the struggle, especially having the Nine of Wands. The Queen of Cups is the queen that most needs her own self. She really needs to be in a state of emotional respect for the self and giving for the self. And usually our self-love, our self-esteem, the way we are emotionally giving to ourselves is usually more imbalanced. It's not usually the relationship we have, strongly, firmly rooted, in a way that it's giving us plenty of what's meant to be giving us. So, and because usually that derives of the fact that usually as we grow, we were perhaps not given, that emotional support and understanding of how important it is to see ourselves in the best possible light, to put ourselves in the best possible light. And some of you do not put yourselves in the best possible light, and why? Or if that is something that you have been working on, there is a challenge, a test coming up as you go into the later part of February to trust something. Because with all that emotional, deep experience and dive of discovery you have been doing, maybe you have created some walls, right? Maybe you have created some trust issues, some blocks. Maybe they are still there with you to be worked through. And there might be a very apparently, right, innocent thing coming up, asking you, trust me, just trust me, give me your hand and let's see what happens. And you might be having a hard time with this flow of let's go and see. In simple things or in very important things, the difficulty here for you, Taurus, seems to be to just let loose and to trust that good things also happen to you, that you deserve good things, that you are deserving of luck, of fortune, of love, of everything you feel you have not found. Because that's a flaw that many Taurus, heavily Taurus people, energy, influence do have. It's not all dark. You are, of course, as any other deserving of good things. And it's not because you have experienced trauma, loss, drama, pain, that ever that is going to be put into question. Ever. The only one putting that limitation or question of if you are worthy of good things in this life is you. And so this altered sense of perspective of where you stand in your emotional power, how you feel things, including how you feel for yourself, how you give for yourself. Have you been giving yourself what you need? At the very least, this is the question in this reading, Taurus. Have you been, giving yourself, spoiling yourself, loving yourself, gifting yourself with the things you need to feel good? It's not because of anyone. It's just for the sake of pleasure and well-being. What have you been doing for you? Because if you haven't, the clear sense of what's coming up here for you in February, and this is how the month is going to be defined, the color of it, right? You define here the color. Is the reminder, the constant reminder that there's something that needs to go so something else can come in. But to have something else come in, it's like it will knock, most likely, yes, it will come to you, it will knock. But if you don't open the door, what difference can it really make if you don't open the door? So I hope you have a great month. Thank you so much for all of you that have been liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, and donating to my channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hopefully we'll see each other soon.